Sweetheart, I need to talk to you about something serious, Mom says over the phone, her voice trembling. Your father, he needs emergency surgery. The insurance won't cover it. We need $25,000 or they won't operate. I am sitting at my desk at work, my heart dropping into my stomach. What kind of surgery? His heart. They found blockages. If we don't do this soon, he could have a massive heart attack. Baby, I know you have your wedding fund saved up. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't life or death. My wedding is in 8 months. I have been saving for 3 years. $25,000. Every penny accounted for. Venue, catering, photographer, dress. But this is Dad's life. Mom, of course. Whatever he needs, I'll transfer the money today. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. You're saving your father's life. I transferred the money that afternoon. All of it. My entire wedding fund. Gone in one wire transfer to save my father's life. 2 weeks later, I stop by my parents' house unannounced, walk through the front door using my key, and find Dad on the couch watching football, eating nachos, looking healthier than he has in years. Dad, I thought you were supposed to be recovering from heart surgery. He looks confused. What surgery? I'm fine. That is when I see them. On the counter, cruise brochures, a 14-day Mediterranean cruise, departing next month, cost $28,000. They used my wedding fund to book a vacation. But let me back up. Let me tell you about the 6 years I spent financially supporting my parents and what happened when I finally discovered where my money was really going. I have been taking care of my parents financially since I was 22 years old. It started innocently enough. I had just graduated college, gotten my first real job as a software engineer. Good salary, more money than I knew what to do with as a single person with no debt. Dad called me 3 months into my new job. Honey, I hate to ask this, but we're a little short on the mortgage this month. Work has been slow. Could you loan us $1,500? Just until things pick up. Of course I could. They were my parents. They had supported me through college, helped with my expenses. This was just me paying them back. I sent the money. They paid me back 6 weeks later. Everything seemed fine. Then 2 months later, another call. The car needs major repairs. Could you help us out with $2,000? I sent it. They promised to pay me back. Never did. But I did not push it. They were my parents. Then it was the water heater, the roof, the medical bills, the credit card payment. Always something. Always urgent. Always requiring my financial intervention. By the time I was 24, I was sending my parents an average of $3,000 to $3,500 a month, every month, like clockwork. Mortgage payment, car payments, both cars, utilities, insurance, credit card minimums, groceries sometimes. I was essentially supporting 2 adults who both had jobs. It's just temporary, Mom would say. Just until we get caught up. You know how expensive everything is. But they never got caught up. The emergencies never stopped. The requests never ended. I made good money, about $90,000 a year. But after taxes, rent, my own expenses, and the $3,500 to $4,000 I sent my parents monthly, I was not saving much. My friends were buying houses, taking vacations, building savings accounts. I was funding my parents' lifestyle. When I was 25, I met Daniel. He was kind, funny, stable, worked in finance, made good money. We fell in love quickly. After a year of dating, he proposed. I said yes immediately. That is when I started my wedding fund, put aside $500 a month, sometimes more when I got bonuses. Built it up slowly while still sending my parents their monthly $3,500. I did not tell my parents about the wedding fund, did not tell them how much I had saved, because I knew what would happen. They would ask for it. Some emergency would conveniently arise that required exactly the amount I had saved. I kept it secret, my one financial boundary. By the time I was 28, I had been supporting my parents for 6 years, had sent them approximately $250,000 over that time, $250,000, and I had finally saved $25,000 for my wedding. 3 years of careful budgeting, saying no to trips with friends, skipping expensive purchases. Also, Daniel and I could have the wedding we wanted. Then Mom called about Dad's emergency surgery. His heart? I repeated, my own heart racing. What do you mean his heart? They found blockages during his routine physical. Severe blockages. He needs surgery immediately or he could die, Amelia. They want to do it next week, but the insurance has a huge deductible we can't afford. How much? $25,000. I know it's a lot. I know you've been saving for the wedding, but this is your father's life. I did not even hesitate. Of course, Mom. I'll transfer it today. Is Dad okay? Is he scared? He's trying to be brave, but yes, he's scared. We both are. Thank you, baby. You're literally saving his life. That's what family does. Keep me updated on the surgery date. I want to be there. The hospital doesn't allow visitors during surgery because of COVID protocols, but I'll call you the second he's out. That made sense. This was 2023. Hospitals still had restrictions. I called Daniel at work. I need to transfer the wedding fund to my parents. My dad needs emergency heart surgery. Oh my God. Is he okay? He needs surgery immediately. The insurance deductible is $25,000. Silence. Then, that's our entire wedding fund. I know, but it's my dad's life, Daniel. We can postpone the wedding. Save up again. We can't postpone heart surgery. You're right. Of course you're right. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about the deposits. But your dad's health is obviously more important. Thank you for understanding. I love you. I love you too. Tell your parents we're thinking of them. I transferred the money that afternoon. Watched my savings account drop from $25,000 to $312. All the money I had left in the world outside of my checking account. But Dad would live. That was worth any amount of money. Mom called 2 hours later. We got the money. Thank you so much, sweetheart. The hospital is scheduling the surgery for next Tuesday. I'll keep you posted. Please do. And tell Dad I love him. I will. He knows. He feels terrible asking you for this. He didn't ask. You did. And I'm happy to help. It's not even a question. The next week was agonizing. I waited for updates, checked my phone constantly. Imagine Dad in surgery. Imagine all the things that could go wrong. Tuesday came, the surgery day. I took off work, stayed home by my phone waiting for Mom's call. She called at 2 p.m. He made it through. The surgery went perfectly. He's in recovery now. The doctors say he'll be home in a few days. I cried from relief. Oh, thank God. Can I talk to him? He's still groggy from anesthesia. I'll have him call you tomorrow when he's more alert. Okay. I love you, Mom. I'm so glad he's okay. We love you too, honey. Thank you again for making this possible. You saved his life. Dad did not call the next day or the day after. When I called Mom, she said he was tired, needed rest. The doctors said limited phone time while recovering. Can I come visit this weekend? I asked. Better give it another week. He's still pretty weak. Let him get stronger first. I gave it a week. Then I tried to visit. He's sleeping right now, Mom said at the door, not inviting me in. Maybe next week? Something felt off, but I could not put my finger on what. Daniel noticed too. It's weird they won't let you see him. He's your dad. Even if he's tired, wouldn't he want to see you after major surgery? Maybe he looks bad. Doesn't want me to see him like that. Maybe. But the weirdness continued. Every time I tried to visit, there was an excuse. Every time I called, Dad was sleeping or in the bathroom or not up for talking. After 2 weeks of this, I decided to just show up, unannounced. Saturday morning, I used my key. I had kept a key to my parents' house from when I lived there. Let myself in. Hello, Mom, Dad? I walked into the living room, and there was Dad, on the couch, eating nachos, watching college football, looking completely normal, not weak, not pale, not like someone who had major heart surgery 2 weeks ago. Dad? He looked up, surprised. Amelia, what are you doing here? What am I, Dad? You had heart surgery 2 weeks ago. I came to check on you. He looked confused. Heart surgery? What are you talking about? My stomach dropped. The blockages, the emergency surgery. Mom said you needed $25,000 for the surgery. I didn't have any surgery. I'm fine, healthy as a horse. But Mom said, that is when I saw them. On the kitchen counter, glossy cruise brochures, Mediterranean cruise, 14 days, leaving in 3 weeks. I walked over, picked one up, saw the booking confirmation tucked inside. Hayes, Robert and Margaret, 2 passengers, balcony suite, total cost, $28,450. Booked 2 weeks ago, the same day I transferred the wedding fund. Dad, I said slowly, my voice shaking. Did you and Mom book a cruise? He had the decency to look guilty. Oh, that. Your mother wanted to surprise you. Surprise me? We were going to tell you. You lied about heart surgery. You took my wedding fund to book a cruise. Now, Amelia, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You lied. Mom said you needed emergency surgery or you'd die. I gave you my entire wedding fund thinking I was saving your life. Your mother may have exaggerated the urgency. Exaggerated? She said you had severe blockages, that you needed surgery immediately, that it was life or death. Mom came rushing in from the bedroom. Amelia, sweetie, I can explain. You took my wedding money for a cruise. You lied about Dad dying. We didn't lie exactly. We needed a vacation. Your father has been so stressed. The cruise will be good for his health. Good for his health? You said he needed surgery. He does need to take better care of himself. This cruise will help him relax, reduce his stress. It's preventative care, really. I stared at her, actually stared at her in disbelief. You took $25,000 from me under false pretenses. That's fraud, Mom. That's actual fraud. Don't be dramatic. You're our daughter. What's yours is ours. We raised you, paid for your expenses. This is just you paying us back. I've been paying you back for 6 years. I've sent you over $250,000. Dad looked shocked. $250,000? That's not right. Yes, it is. $3,000 to $3,500 a month for 6 years. I've paid your mortgage, your car payments, your utilities, your credit cards, everything. And you repay me by lying about dying to steal my wedding money. We didn't steal anything, Mom said defensively. We borrowed it. When are you paying it back? Well, eventually, when we can afford it. You can afford a $28,000 cruise, but you can't afford to pay me back? Silence. Get out of our house, Mom said finally. You're being disrespectful. Disrespectful? I'm being. You know what? Fine, I'm leaving, but I want my money back. All of it. We already spent it on the cruise deposit, then cancel the cruise. We can't. It's non-refundable. Of course it was. Of course they had booked a non-refundable cruise with my stolen money. I left, got in my car, sat in their driveway shaking with rage. Then I called my bank. I need to report fraud. Someone used false pretenses to get me to transfer money. But even as I said it, I knew the truth. My parents had not hacked my account. I had willingly transferred the money. Based on lies, yes, but willingly. The bank could not help me. This was a civil matter, a family matter. I had just lost $25,000. And my wedding, because my parents wanted a vacation. I sat in my car outside my parents' house for 20 minutes, crying so hard I could not see straight. $25,000. 3 years of savings, gone, stolen by the people who were supposed to love me most. I called Daniel, told him everything. They what? His voice was ice cold. They lied about your father dying? Yes. To take your wedding money? Yes. For a cruise? A $28,000 Mediterranean cruise. Non-refundable. Silence. Long enough I thought he had hung up. Daniel, I'm trying very hard not to tell you to call the police right now, because they're your parents. But Amelia, this is fraud. This is actual criminal fraud. The bank said it's a civil matter since I willingly transferred the money, based on lies. Based on them saying your father would die without surgery. I know, but what can I do? Sue my own parents? Yes, that's exactly what you should do. I can't sue my parents. Why not? They stole from you. They've been stealing from you for 6 years. This is just the most blatant example. He was not wrong. But the idea of suing my own parents felt impossible. Unthinkable. I need time to think. I said, okay, come home. We'll figure this out together. I drove home, walked into the apartment I shared with Daniel, collapsed on the couch. We don't have money for the wedding now, I said. We have to postpone, start over. We'll figure it out. The wedding isn't what matters. What matters is that your parents betrayed you in the worst possible way. I've been supporting them for 6 years, $250,000, and they still took more. Because they could, because you let them, because they knew you'd always bail them out. So this is my fault? No, God no, this is their fault for being manipulative leeches. But Amelia, you have to stop giving them money. Completely, cut them off. They'll lose their house, their cars, everything. Let them. They're adults. They both have jobs. They can figure it out like everyone else. But they're my parents. They're con artists who happen to share your DNA. That doesn't make them entitled to your money forever. I knew he was right, but knowing it and accepting it were different things. Over the next few days, My parents called constantly, left voicemails, sent texts. Amelia, stop being childish. We needed this vacation. You're overreacting. It's just money. We raised you, fed you. This is the thanks we get? Fine, be mad. But we still need this month's mortgage payment. Can you send it by Friday? That last message broke something in me. They had stolen my wedding fund, had lied about my father dying, and they still expected me to pay their bills? I did not respond to any of the messages, just blocked their numbers. Then I called a lawyer. The lawyer's name was Patricia Morrison. She specialized in elder fraud and family financial abuse. Tell me what happened, she said, pen poised over her legal pad. I told her everything. The 6 years of financial support, the emergency surgery lie, the cruise booking, the stolen wedding fund. She took notes without interrupting. When I finished, she set down her pen. This is textbook financial abuse and potentially fraud, depending on how we frame it. Can I get my money back? The $25,000? Possibly, if we can prove they obtained it through false pretenses with the intent to deceive. The bigger issue is the 6 years of financial support. Do you have documentation of all those transfers? Yes. Bank statements, Venmo records, everything. Were they ever supposed to pay you back? At first, yes. But then it just became expected, like paying rent. Every month I sent them money. Did they ever tell you what they were spending it on? Their bills, mortgage, car payments, utilities, emergencies, or so they said. And the cruise booking. When did that happen relative to you transferring the wedding fund? Same day. I transferred the money in the morning. They booked the cruise that afternoon. Patricia's eyebrows rose. That's pretty damning. It suggests premeditation. They knew what they were going to use the money for before they asked. So I can sue them? You can. For fraud and return of the wedding fund at minimum. Potentially for some of the other money too if we can prove it was obtained under false pretenses. But Amelia, I need you to understand something. Suing your parents will destroy your relationship with them. Probably permanently. I think they destroyed it when they lied about my father dying. Fair enough. Let's talk about what a lawsuit would look like. We spent 2 hours going over options. Patricia explained that I had a strong case for the $25,000. They had explicitly lied about a medical emergency to obtain money. That was textbook fraud. The other $250,000 was murkier. I had given it willingly, even if under pressure. We could argue financial coercion, undue influence, but it was harder to prove. I say we start with the $25,000, Patricia advised. Sue for return of the wedding fund plus emotional distress damages. If they fight it, we can always expand the suit to include the other money. How much would I sue for? The $25,000 plus maybe another $25,000 in emotional distress? Depends on how far you want to push it. $50,000 from my own parents. Let's do it, I said. Draft the lawsuit. Patricia drafted a complaint. It was formal and cold, laying out exactly what my parents had done. The lie about heart surgery, the theft of the wedding fund, the cruise booking, the emotional harm caused. Before we file, I'm required to ask, do you want to try mediation first? It's cheaper and less public. Will they agree to mediation? We can ask. Some people prefer it to avoid court. Send them a letter. Offer mediation. If they refuse, we file. Patricia sent a formal demand letter to my parents. It laid out the facts, demanded return of the $25,000 within 30 days, and offered mediation as an alternative to litigation. My parents' response came 3 days later. Not through a lawyer, through my brother. Michael was 2 years younger than me, lived across the country, and had always been the golden child. The one who didn't help financially because he was still establishing his career even though he made 6 figures in tech. He called me at work. Amelia, what the hell? You're suing mom and dad? They stole my wedding fund, Michael. They didn't steal it. They borrowed it. They lied about dad dying to get it. That's theft. It's a family loan. You're being vindictive. Did you know about the cruise? Silence. What cruise? The $28,000 Mediterranean cruise they booked with my wedding money. The same day I transferred it. I didn't know about that. Of course you didn't. Because you don't pay their bills every month. I do. Or I did. For 6 years. Over $250,000. $250,000. He sounded shocked. That can't be right. Check your math. $3,500 a month for 6 years. $252,000. I have every receipt. Why would you give them that much? Because they said they needed it. Because I'm their daughter and I thought I was helping them. And they repaid me by lying about Dad's heart and stealing my wedding fund. Amelia, if you sue them, they'll lose their house. They can't afford a lawsuit. Then they shouldn't have stolen from me. Think about what you're doing. You're tearing this family apart. No, they tore it apart when they committed fraud. I'm just responding. Michael tried to guilt me, tried to convince me to drop the lawsuit. When that didn't work, he got angry. You're destroying this family over money. That makes you just as bad as them. I'm destroying the family? I've been supporting them financially for 6 years. Where were you? Where was your help? I send them money sometimes. How much? I don't know. A few hundred here and there. I sent them to $150,000. And they still stole from me. Don't lecture me about family when you've contributed basically nothing. I hung up on him. Blocked his number too. The 30-day deadline passed. My parents did not return the money. Did not agree to mediation. Ignored the demand letter completely. So Patricia filed the lawsuit. Amelia Martinez vs. Robert and Margaret Hayes. Civil fraud. $50,000 in damages. And my parents' comfortable lie was about to become very public. My parents hired a lawyer, a cheap one, based on his first response to our complaint. His argument was essentially, this is a family matter. The daughter voluntarily gave money. No fraud occurred. Patricia shredded it. Filed a response with documentation. Bank transfers showing the timing. Wedding fund sent the same day the cruise was booked. Text messages where mom had described dad's severe blockages and emergency surgery. Dad's medical records showing 0 cardiac procedures in the past 5 years. The evidence was damning. Anyone looking at it objectively would see that my parents had lied to steal my money. But they were not looking at it objectively. They were looking at it as parents who felt entitled to their daughter's money. Their second response came through their lawyer, an offer to settle. They would pay back $10,000 over 2 years, $500 a month. It's insulting, Patricia said. They stole $25,000 and they're offering less than half back, over 2 years, with no interest. Counter offer, $25,000, paid in full within 90 days, plus $5,000 in emotional distress damages, $30,000 total. We countered. They rejected it, said they didn't have $30,000. Then they shouldn't have booked a cruise, Patricia pointed out in her response. The case proceeded to discovery. Patricia requested all their financial records, bank statements, credit card bills, tax returns, everything. What we found was infuriating. My parents were not broke, not even close. Dad made $75,000 a year at his job. Mom made $45,000 at hers. Combined household income of $120,000 annually. Their mortgage was only $1,500 a month. Cars paid off. No major debts. They should have been comfortable. Should have been able to afford their bills easily. But they were terrible with money. Spent compulsively. Ate out constantly. Bought expensive clothes. Went to casinos and lost thousands. Took weekend trips. And when they ran out of money, they called me. For 6 years, I had been subsidizing their lifestyle, paying their basic bills so they could blow their own money on luxuries. This is even worse than I thought, Patricia said, reviewing their bank statements. They've been using you as their personal ATM while living beyond their means. And they still had the audacity to steal your wedding fund. Can we use this in court? Absolutely. It shows a pattern of financial irresponsibility and manipulation. They didn't need your money. They wanted it. There's a difference. The case was scheduled for trial, but 2 weeks before the court date, something happened. My parents' cruise, the one they had booked with my money, they posted about it on Facebook. Photos of them on the ship, at the pool, at fancy dinners, drinking expensive wine, smiling and laughing without a care in the world. Using my stolen wedding money to fund their vacation while I was suing them to get it back. The posts were public, visible to everyone, including the judge, if he cared to look. Patricia saw them and called me immediately. Please tell me you saw what your parents just posted. I saw. My friend sent me screenshots. They tagged themselves in Santorini. They're flaunting the cruise they bought with your stolen money while we're in active litigation. This is a gift. How? Because it shows no remorse. No understanding that they did anything wrong. They're literally on vacation with your wedding fund while you're suing them to get it back. The optics are terrible for them. Patricia submitted the Facebook posts as evidence, highlighted the dates, posted during the pending litigation, pointed out the cost of the cruise relative to their settlement offer. Your Honors, The defendants claim they cannot afford to repay the plaintiff, yet they are currently on a $28,000 cruise purchased with the funds in question. This demonstrates both their ability to pay and their complete lack of remorse for their fraudulent actions. My parents' lawyer tried to argue the cruise was already paid for, non-refundable. They couldn't not go. The judge was not sympathetic. They could have canceled and taken the loss. Instead, they chose to go on vacation with money they obtained through lies while facing a lawsuit for those same lies. That shows remarkably per judgment. How? The trial lasted 2 days. Patricia called me to the stand first, had me explain the 6 years of financial support, the emergency surgery call, the wire transfer, the discovery of the cruise booking. How did you feel when you discovered your father hadn't actually had surgery? Patricia asked. Betrayed, devastated. They had used my greatest fear, losing my parent, to manipulate me into giving them money. It wasn't just theft, it was emotional abuse. My parents' lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, as a daughter who gave money freely and now wanted it back out of spite. Isn't it true you've been sending your parents money for 6 years? Yes. And they never forced you to send it? They manipulated me, told me about emergencies, about bills they couldn't pay, about consequences if I didn't help. That's financial coercion. But you could have said no at any time, in theory. But when your parent tells you they'll lose their house if you don't help, saying no feels impossible. Patricia called a financial abuse expert. She testified about patterns of financial manipulation within families, how adult children often feel obligated to help parents, how that obligation can be exploited. Then Patricia called Dad to the stand. Mr. Hayes, did you have emergency heart surgery in March of this year? No. Did you have any cardiac procedure in March? No. Did your wife tell you she was going to ask your daughter for money by claiming you needed emergency surgery? Dad looked uncomfortable. She may have mentioned it. And you didn't stop her? Didn't tell your daughter the truth? I thought Amelia would want us to have a nice vacation. We've been under a lot of stress. So you knowingly allowed your wife to lie about a life-threatening medical emergency to extract $25,000 from your daughter? When you put it that way, I'm putting it exactly the way it happened, Mr. Hayes. You and your wife lied. You stole. And then you went on a cruise with the stolen money. Is that correct? Yes. Dad had no good answer. Mom didn't take the stand. Her lawyer advised against it. The judge deliberated for 3 hours, then called us back into the courtroom. I've reviewed all the evidence, the testimony, the financial records, and I'm prepared to issue a ruling. I held my breath. I find in favor of the plaintiff. The defendants obtained money through false pretenses, specifically, lying about a medical emergency. That constitutes fraud. The defendants are ordered to repay the plaintiff $25,000 plus $5,000 in emotional distress damages, $30,000 total, due within 90 days. I won. I actually won. My parents looked shell-shocked. Mom was crying. Dad stared at the table. Their lawyer requested a payment plan. The judge agreed, $1,000 a month for 30 months. But be aware, the judge added, looking directly at my parents. If you default on these payments, the plaintiff can pursue collection, including garnishment of wages or liens on property. I suggest you pay what you owe. We left the courtroom. Patricia hugged me. You did it. You held them accountable. It doesn't feel like winning. That's because you're a good person. But trust me, this was the right thing to do. I went home, told Daniel we had won. He was relieved but subdued. $30,000 over 30 months. Your wedding fund plus a little extra. It's something. It's justice. Maybe. But justice felt hollow when it came at the cost of your relationship with your parents. The first payment came on time, $1,000, wired to my account exactly 30 days after the judgment. The second payment came on time too. Then the third payment was late, 5 days late, with an email from Dad. Had unexpected expenses this month. Will send payment Friday. It came Friday, but the precedent was set. They would pay when they felt like it, not when they were supposed to. The fourth payment didn't come at all. I waited a week, 2 weeks, nothing. I called Patricia. They missed the payment. Do you want to start garnishment proceedings? Give them 1 more week. Maybe it's actually an emergency this time. The payment came 9 days late, with another excuse. I realized what they were doing. They were going to drag this out, make every payment a battle, turn the 30-month payment plan into 40 months, 50 months, however long they could stall. And I would have to chase them for every dollar. I'm done, I told Patricia. Start the garnishment. Take it directly from their paychecks. Are you sure? That's going to escalate things. They had their chance to pay voluntarily. They're choosing not to. So yes, garnish their wages. No, Patricia filed the paperwork. Within 2 weeks, both of my parents' employers were notified to withhold a portion of their paychecks and send it directly to me. Mom called me for the first time since the trial. I answered, "How could you do this?" She screamed, "You're garnishing our wages. Do you know how humiliating that is? You should have paid on time. We're your parents. You're supposed to help us, not destroy us. I helped you for 6 years. I gave you $250,000, and you stole my wedding fund. You don't get to play victim now. That money was ours. We raised you, fed you. This is just you paying us back. This is me getting back the money you stole. There's a difference. You're a horrible daughter, ungrateful, selfish, and you're fraudulent thieves who happen to be my parents. At least I'm not a criminal." She hung up on me. Good. The garnishment worked. $1,000 a month, every month, automatically deducted from their paychecks and sent to me. No more excuses, no more delays. But my parents didn't go quietly. They started a campaign to turn the family against me, called my brother Michael, my aunt and uncle, my cousins, anyone who would listen. Amelia is garnishing our wages over a family loan. She's destroying us financially. She's cruel and vindictive. Some family members believed them, reached out to tell me I was being too harsh, that family should forgive, that I should drop the garnishment and work something out. I sent them all the same response, a PDF of the court judgment, the evidence, the timeline showing they booked the cruise the same day I transferred the money. Most people stopped defending my parents after reading it. My Aunt Susan called me, crying. I had no idea. Your mother made it sound like you were being petty, but this is fraud, actual fraud. Yes, I'm so sorry, honey, for not believing you, for taking their side without knowing the full story. It's okay. They're good at playing victims. Are you ever going to speak to them again? I don't know. Right now, no, maybe never. I understand. What they did was unforgivable. Michael called too, apologized. I looked at the court documents. I can't believe they lied about Dad dying. That's so much worse than I thought. I tried to tell you. I know, I should have listened. I just couldn't believe our parents would do something like that. But the evidence is right there. The timing of the cruise booking, the medical records showing no surgery. It's all documented. Yeah, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. I took their side without knowing the facts. That wasn't fair to you. Thank you. Are you okay? Like financially? Daniel mentioned you had to postpone the wedding. We postponed it a year. We're saving again. It's fine. If you need help. I don't need money, Michael. I need my family to stop treating me like an ATM. I get that now. I really do. After that conversation, Michael started sending Mom and Dad money. Not a lot, $500 a month, but enough that they stopped calling him to complain about me. I appreciated the gesture, even if it was 6 years too late. 18 months into the payment plan, Mom showed up at my apartment. I saw her through the peephole, almost didn't open the door, but something made me unlock it. What do you want? She looked older, tired, like the past year and a half had aged her a decade. Can I come in? Please, just for a few minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. We sat in the living room. An awkward silence stretched between us. I came to apologize. She finally said, "Okay, what we did was wrong. The lie about the surgery, taking your wedding money, all of it. It was wrong and I'm sorry." I waited. There had to be more. But you have to understand, we were desperate. Your father and I, we've always struggled with money. We make bad decisions. We know that. And we got used to you bailing us out. That doesn't make it okay. I know. But when you started saving for the wedding, we panicked. We needed money and you didn't have it to give anymore. So I thought, if I made it sound urgent enough, medical enough, you'd help one more time. You lied about Dad dying, Mom. You made me think I was saving his life. I know it was cruel, but I didn't know what else to do. We needed that money for a cruise. She looked down. The cruise it was stupid. Your father wanted to do something special before we got too old. I thought maybe if we had a nice vacation, we could reset, figure things out. On my wedding money. Yes, on your wedding money. And it was wrong. I see that now. Do you? Because it took a lawsuit and wage garnishment for you to admit it. The garnishment has been humiliating. Everyone at work knows. My boss knows. It's in my pay stubs every month. Court-ordered garnishment. Like I'm a criminal. You are a criminal. You committed fraud. Mom flinched. I know, the judge said so. But Amelia, I'm your mother. Doesn't that count for something? It used to. Before you lied about Dad dying. How many times do I have to apologize? I don't know if there's a number that makes this okay. She started crying. I miss you. Your father misses you. We haven't seen you in over a year. We missed your birthday. You missed ours. We're family. Family doesn't lie about dying to steal money. I know we messed up. But are you really going to cut us off forever over one mistake? It wasn't one mistake, Mom. It was 6 years of financial manipulation that culminated in fraud. That's not one mistake. That's a pattern. So you're never going to forgive us? We're just done? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, I said honestly. Right now, I can't imagine having a relationship with you. Maybe someday, but not now. The trust is gone. What can we do to earn it back? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. You can't unsteal my wedding fund. You can't unlie about Dad's heart. It happened. And I have to live with the fact that my parents valued a cruise more than they valued their relationship with me. We didn't think of it that way. I know. That's the problem. You didn't think about how your actions would affect me at all. You just thought about what you wanted. Mom was fully crying now. Please don't shut us out forever. We made a mistake. A huge mistake. But we love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have lied to me. We do love you. No, you love what I could do for you. You love my money. You love having someone to bail you out. But you don't love me. Because if you did, you never could have done what you did. That's not true. It is true. And until you can actually acknowledge that, there's nothing to talk about. I stood up. The garnishment continues until you've paid every dollar. After that, we'll see. But Mom, don't expect me to just forgive and forget. That's not happening. Amelia, please leave. She left, crying, broken. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, just emptiness. Daniel came home an hour later, found me sitting on the couch staring at nothing. You okay? My mom was here. She apologized, sort of. How do you feel? I feel like I'll never trust them again. And that makes me sad. But I also know I'm right to not trust them. And that makes me sad too. He sat beside me, held my hand. You don't have to figure it all out today. I know. The garnishment ends in 12 more months. Then you'll have all your money back plus the damages. You can decide then what kind of relationship, if any, you want with them. What if I never want one? Then that's okay too. You get to decide who's in your life, even if they're family. I leaned against him. Let myself cry for the parents I used to have, the ones I thought I had, before I learned what they really were. The garnishment continued. $1,000 a month every month for another 12 months. My parents made the required payments. They had no choice. It came directly from their paychecks, but they made their resentment known. They called Michael to complain, called extended family, posted vague Facebook statuses about ungrateful children and family betrayal. I didn't engage. Just let them tell whatever story they needed to tell. Most people who knew the full story sided with me. A few older relatives thought I should let it go and forgive family. I ignored them. Daniel and I rescheduled our wedding, smaller than we'd originally planned. We'd learned to be more practical with money after this whole ordeal, but still beautiful, still ours. I didn't invite my parents. That decision was surprisingly easy. It's your day, Daniel said. You shouldn't have to spend it worried about what they might say or do. I feel guilty though. They're my parents. They stole your wedding fund. They don't get to come to the wedding they tried to prevent. He was right. We got married on a Saturday in October. Small ceremony. 50 guests. People who actually loved and supported us. My brother Michael came. My Aunt Susan came. Several cousins. Daniel's whole family. Our friends. It was perfect. No drama. No stolen money. No lies. Just love and celebration. Mom sent a card. I didn't open it. The final garnishment payment came through 3 weeks after the wedding. $30,000 total. Paid over 30 months. My wedding fund was restored, plus $5,000 in damages. Minus the legal fees I'd paid Patricia, I was about even with where I'd started. But I'd learned something invaluable: boundaries, self-respect, the understanding that blood relation doesn't entitle someone to exploit you. Patricia called when the final payment cleared. Congratulations, you're done. They've paid in full. Thank you for everything. What are you going to do now? Regarding your parents, I mean. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They paid what they owed. We're even financially. But that doesn't mean I owe them a relationship. That's very mature. A lot of people struggle with that distinction. I struggled with it for a long time. But I'm clear now. They're not entitled to access to me just because they gave birth to me. Good for you. I hung up, looked at my bank account, saw the final payment, felt nothing. No triumph, no relief, just the quiet satisfaction of a debt repaid. Daniel noticed my mood. You're not happy. I thought I would be. I thought getting my money back would feel like winning. But it just feels like the end of something sad. It is the end of something sad. The end of your parents having financial control over you. The end of their manipulation. That's worth mourning, even if it's also worth celebrating. I don't know if I'll ever talk to them again. That's okay. You don't have to decide that now, or ever. But the decision was made for me, in a way, by something I discovered 3 months after the final payment. I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw it, a post from my mother, not directed at me. She'd unfriended me months ago, but it was public, and someone had tagged my Aunt Susan, which is how it showed up in my feed. The post was a photo, Mom and Dad, on a beach, tropical drinks, bright smiles. The caption, sometimes you just need to escape. Bahamas, here we come. Hashtag blessed, hashtag vacation, hashtag living our best life. I stared at the photo. Read the caption again. They were on vacation. Again, another cruise, another tropical getaway. I didn't know. What I did know was this. They had just spent 30 months paying back the money they stole from me. 30 months of court-ordered garnishment. 30 months of supposedly being financially strained and humiliated. And now, 3 months after the final payment, they were on vacation in the Bahamas. They hadn't learned anything, hadn't changed at all, still spending money they shouldn't be spending, still prioritizing vacations over financial responsibility. The only difference was now they were doing it with their own money instead of mine. I showed Daniel the post. He shook his head. Unbelievable. Is it though? This is exactly who they are, who they've always been. Aren't you angry? No, I'm relieved actually, because this proves I made the right choice. If I'd forgiven them, if I'd let them back in my life, they would have just done it again. Asked for money, manipulated me, stolen from me. This is who they are. So you're done with them? For good? Yeah, I think I am. And I was. Seeing that post crystallized everything for me. My parents were never going to change. They were never going to take responsibility. They were never going to prioritize financial stability over immediate gratification. And I was never going to bankroll their lifestyle again. I blocked them on all social media, changed my phone number, made sure they had no way to contact me. What if there's a real emergency? My Aunt Susan asked when I told her, then they can call you or Michael. But I'm done being their emergency fund, done being their safety net. They made their choices. They can live with the consequences. Susan understood. I'm proud of you, honey. Setting boundaries is hard, especially with parents. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most necessary. It's been 2 years since the trial, 3.5 years since they stole my wedding fund. I'm 31 now, married to Daniel. We bought a house, saved up for the down payment ourselves. No help from anyone. We're financially stable, happy. I haven't spoken to my parents in over 2 years. Don't know how they're doing. Don't know if they're still taking vacations or if they finally learned to budget. I don't care. That sounds harsh, but it's true. I spent 6 years caring about their financial well-being, sacrificing my own stability to prop up theirs. I'm done caring. Sometimes people ask if I regret suing them, if I wish I'd handled it differently. The answer is no, absolutely not. Suing them was the only way to hold them accountable, the only way to get my money back, the only way to set a boundary they couldn't ignore or manipulate their way around. Could I have just forgiven them, let it go, maintained a relationship despite the betrayal? Maybe, but what would that have taught them? That they could lie and steal and face no consequences? That I would always be there to bail them out no matter what they did? No, they needed to learn that actions have consequences. That you can't lie about someone dying to steal their money and expect to maintain a relationship with them. I'm not sorry I sued my parents. I'm sorry I had parents who made suing them necessary. There's a difference. Michael and I talk occasionally. He sends them money still, $500 a month, says they're getting older, need help. I don't judge him for it. It's his choice. But he doesn't ask me to help, doesn't suggest I reconcile with them. He learned that lesson. My Aunt Susan told me recently that mom asks about me sometimes, wants to know how I'm doing, if I'm happy, if I ever think about them. What do you tell her? I asked. I tell her you're doing great, that you're happy, that you're thriving, and that she lost the privilege of knowing the details when she lied about your father dying. Thank you. She cries when I tell her that. Says she made a mistake. Says she wishes she could take it back. We all wish we could take back our mistakes, but we can't. We can only live with the consequences. Very wise, not wise, just tired. Tired of people who hurt me expecting me to make them feel better about hurting me. And that's the truth of it. My parents hurt me deeply, deliberately, repeatedly. And now they want forgiveness so they can feel better about what they did. But I don't owe them comfort. I don't owe them absolution. I don't owe them anything. I gave them 6 years and $250,000. I gave them my trust, my love, my financial stability. And they gave me lies, manipulation, theft. The debt is paid. The literal debt they owed me at least $30,000, repaid over 30 months, garnished from their wages. But the emotional debt, the trust they destroyed, the relationship they ruined, that can never be repaid. So I've moved on, built a life without them. A life where I'm not constantly worried about their next emergency, not constantly drained financially and emotionally. A life where I'm valued for who I am, not what I can provide. Daniel asks me sometimes if I'm happy, if I'm at peace with my decision. The answer is yes, completely yes. I'm happy, I'm at peace, I'm free. Free from the obligation, free from the guilt, free from the manipulation. My parents lied about my father dying to steal my wedding fund, and I sued them, won, and never spoke to them again. Some people think that makes me cold, unforgiving, a bad daughter. Those people have never been financially abused by their parents, have never had someone use their love and obligation as weapons, have never been lied to about life or death emergencies to extract money. I don't need those people to understand. I just need them to respect my choice. And if they can't, they can join my parents on the list of people I do and have space for in my life. Because I have learned something important over these past few years. You don't owe anyone access to you, not even family, especially not family who've proven they'll hurt you. You get to choose who's in your life. You get to set boundaries. You get to demand respect and honesty and basic human decency. And if people can't meet that bar, even if those people are your parents, you get to walk away. I walked away. I sued for my money back. I cut off contact. I built a life without them. And I've never been happier. That's not sad. That's not tragic. That's not me being cold or unforgiving. That's me finally valuing myself more than I value their comfort. And that's exactly the way it should be. My parents lied about my father needing emergency heart surgery to steal my $25,000 wedding fund for a cruise. And when I discovered the truth, I sued them and won. After years of sending them $3,500 monthly to cover their bills, they repaid my trust with fraud. My extended family says I should have forgiven them instead of pursuing legal action and wage garnishment. But I think they earned every consequence. Was I wrong to sue my own parents and cut them off permanently? Or did they deserve to face accountability for stealing my wedding money? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. Believe people should face the consequences of their actions. Hit subscribe. I have got more stories of justice that will blow your mind.